So this is a report on MATLAB exercise number 4, time response. So as for graphing, I will be using the output on the right for LiveScript because it is more coherent, and also by highlighting the part where there a plotting is involved. For example, here I highlight step T0, the output on the right will immediately switch to that plot. So if I will use this one, figure I, you can see that it immediately moves to that part where there is the plotting for the different values of 0. So I replaced the 0 with 1 up to 9. To make it more efficient, I used a for loop. So starts from 1, ends in 9. And for the formatting of the title, you can see here that it inserts the number itself. So what can we notice from this graph? From s squared plus 1s plus 9 up to s squared plus 5s plus 9. Since it is not equal to s plus 3 squared, so the response for these first 5 are underdamped. And you can see here is evident from the very first graph that there was a slow decay up to a constant value here. But the important part here is that there is still a rise time that is evident here, and a certain peak value is reached. However, here at 5s, it's not so evident anymore, but by zooming in at this part right here specifically, you can see here that this is still 1.00344, but it approaches a decreasing value. Was it's not evident here, but if you can explore the rest of the graph, you'll know that this is not necessarily the final value. And in fact, at some point here, the highest part, which is probably here, this is its peak value, and it will decrease slightly, very minusculely. So you can approximate s squared plus 5s plus 9 as some sort of uh, critically damped. But unfortunately for critically damped, it's here at s squared plus 6s plus 9. We can notice that at this part here, it reached a constant value which is equal to 1. And moving forward, it's also uh, constant, stays relatively constant, equal to 1. Although there are, as we have mentioned before, there are little variations in this part of the graph. Uh, Moving forward from this s squared plus 6s plus 9, so from 7 s squared plus 7s plus 9 up to 9s plus 9, this response is now overdamped. And the difference of the overdamped from the critically damped response will be explored here in the second code. So here in the second part of the code, you can see here that we had a test run for our first transfer function. So we'll notice that this is what it looks like. But we have not seen it fully with all the different types of response. So if we go back to our T1, which is right here, we'll notice that this is more of like a certain type of overdamped response or a critically damped response. But to be sure, you have to look at the transfer function. Notice that s squared plus 50s plus 400, if you solve for zeta for that, it's going to be equal to 2.5 over 2, which is 1.25. And that is greater than 1. So therefore, that is an overdamped response. But to be sure, what we can do is we can plot all three-step responses with each other. So what we can do is we can go and proceed to the plot. And here in the plot, you'll notice that if we zoom in on this figures, so we can open this in the figure window and zoom here further, we'll notice that our C3, which is the very last one, is an underdamped response. The reason why is if we go back to our main code, the transfer function is 12s plus 400. S squared plus 12s plus 400 will give you a very small value of zeta, 0.6 if I'm not mistaken. So that 0.6 translates to an underdamped response because it is not equal to 1. But for the second transfer function with 40s plus 400, this is equal to 1. And so with that, we can see that this C2, which is the orange graph, actually rises earlier than the overdamped response of C1, because C1 is S squared plus 50s plus 400. So that translates to a higher, or rather higher zeta. And we'll notice that for both the critically damped response and the overdamped response, their appearance as a standalone is similar. But by plotting them together, you'll notice that the critically damped response reaches the constant value earlier than the uh, overdamped response. It's just that in the overdamped response, it appears that it has already reached a final value or a constant value if it was not given the context of the critically damped response. And so that differentiates uh, these two type of responses. So in conclusion, by plotting the different types of response from a single transfer function, so by tweaking the middle part of the denominator, which will correspond to the different zeta, this zeta uh, changes what type of response is its step response. And so we get that by context of the design, it is not easy to say that you have created a sort of critically damped system without plotting it against an overdamped system and noticing that there is a difference, a very sharp difference between these two types of response.